Television Network.
Hello, everyone. Happy Memorial Day weekend. We have a very special guest today. I do want to mention we have to do some disclaimers. Nothing we mention here is used to treat or diagnose or cure anyone. Please contact your medical practitioner, medical doctor for anything that's going on, because we do make a lot of solutions here at Emery Star Labs, such as the oceanic solution. You can read about all these amazing solutions at emerystarlabs.com. The ingredients that we have synergistically together that we put in there have been known to destroy pathogens and parasites, viruses, bacteria, and molds. So that's something that a lot of you everyone has something. We scan patients all the time, and it's hard not to come up with something. One of our newest additions, though, I want to point out is this platinum gold bismuth solution. Look at that. And it's geared, actually, we made a colloidal bismuth, and we mixed it with colloidal gold and some other proprietary ingredients. And it's to really neutralize the H. pylori bacteria. And because these cause micro tears in your stomach. And a lot of people have this. We see an outbreak of it with the influx of many immigrants into the United States. But you can read about these things, on emerystarlabs.com. If you like these kind of shows, you can go to emerysmith.co and subscribe, because we do these every Sunday. We have these little webinars to educate the public on the extraterrestrial and disclosure projects that are going on, and also, health and wellness as well. And you can always catch me on Gaia TV, #1 show, Cosmic Disclosure. We're in our 33rd season. Thanks to you guys. Thank you guys for all your support. Up to about 22 million people watch that show. And, we've grown it over the years, of course. It's changed a lot since I've been on there 10 years ago when I first came forward. Please start with episode 1, season 1, so you can see how scared I was when I first came forward with David Wilcock and the crew there. Also, you can follow us on the Cosmic Disclosure Alliance page on Facebook. Like-minded people like you guys, really great discussions, and you get up-to-date happenings of what we're doing and the webinars and things like that. It's really exciting. Of course, we have all the other social networkings, that are out there, but that's a good one just to keep the information coming. And like I said, lots to come. We have a really special guest today, and it's Memorial Day weekend, and it's tough for guys like JP and I. We have a lot of friends, that have passed. So do a moment of prayer tonight and tomorrow for all the fallen soldiers. Much respect to them. And if you do see a veteran walking around, tell them thank you. It means a lot to us, volunteering to go to war for this country and hoping that we're going to get back here in one piece for our families. So think about that. And we appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you. I love you guys. This is going to be some jaw-dropping things that are going to be said today. And we're going to try to keep it as safe as possible. We don't want to get taken off of any networks or anything. So with no further ado, JP Missions. Is he coming on? JP's here. Former Army soldier here.
Let's go.
Yeah. Here we go. We're going to jump right into it, guys. We only have a limited couple hours here, maybe a little bit longer, to answer some questions. If you have questions, write them in there, and then Cameron's going to put them in the question box, and we'll try to get to those at the end. But we have to get through this documentation, never seen before footage, classified, of course. And we're happy that JP is willing to put his neck on the line to get this out. And thank you, JP, for that. Thanks for coming on.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you for the opportunity to bring this information out. We're happy. We're locked and loaded, ready to discuss what's dropping around the world. It's only the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
We're definitely going to touch on disclosure and we're going to touch on some of the entities and stuff we talked about at the conference a couple weeks ago. It was a great meeting. JP and I rocked the stage out there. We got to interview each other, and we just have a good connection. When I see him, I'm thinking about myself, what he went through, and it's pretty nerve-wracking to say the least. And I'm glad he was one of the few that have come out that have a military background, proven military background, which I really appreciate. Thanks for your service.
Thank you for your service, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, JP. All right. Well, we just had another 40 things dropped or something. People, we got to tell everyone this is the soft disclosure. The soft disclosure means they're going to slowly release things and say, well, we don't know what this is, when they actually do know what this is. We know what it is, and that's why we're going to explain to you what these things are. And we're going to also go into some of the extraterrestrials behind the scenes and some time travel and some portal technology. So, and JP, what's the latest you heard with this last release?
This release is entertaining the masses of getting everybody in one accord, getting everybody like I said before, 3 out of 10 people right now are talking about UFOs, talking about ETs. It's getting to a point that everywhere you go, all you hear is about aliens, ETs, and UFOs, so, and portals and time travel and different timelines. And it's getting to a point that we have to bring this out the right way.
Right.
We have to bring this out the right way, because a lot of people has probably lost their life trying to bring this information out. So this is a serious matter. I'm not liking the people that are taking this information for granted. Mm-hmm. They're coming out saying, oh, who cares about the UFO files? Who cares about what's happening here? But what we need to understand that once we have these files drop, right, this is where we're going to have the archaeological finds, right? It branches out where we're going to have the technologies that are going to drop out, where we're going to have 0-point energy in these spacecraft dropping out, while the normal humans are sending rockets to space and making history. The other humans that go through these missions, like you and I, and have experienced these entities, these beings, these UFOs, and we know certain ways how to bring them down. Mm-hmm. It's going to get to a point that we're going to have to make it happen the right way.
Right, the right way. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, because this is going to really discombobulate organized religions, politics, and even in the scientific arena, most definitely. And that's going to be a little shocking for all those groups out there, which is pretty much everyone is connected to one of those 3. And I think, a soft disclosure is necessary, and, which is leading up. These are baby steps. We're all just excited about it because, I've been saying all this stuff for 10 years. And when I came forward, and even being an informant for our colleagues, 15 years before that. So it's all coming true. And I think we have a great path, set up for protection for that, which is important too. And, we know what we can say and what, we can't say just yet, because there's going to be released information and scientific stuff too, with patents that I had developed in the military that have to do with health and wellness and energy type situations. But, that's on them. We give them, we'll go along with their slow release, and we're able to share, however, some other additional information that we are, going on a limb for you guys to discuss today and answer it truthfully to the best of our knowledge, because you guys really need to know behind the scenes what's also going on.
Oh, yeah.
So is there a specific, talking about the last release just now, that was great. I know you also have some other things that are going to be released. as well as I do. And I don't know if we'll get to share that or not, but if you want to, we can look at that a little bit later in the show.
Yeah, we could squeeze it in.
You squeeze it in a little bit and be the final, in your face kind of thing. Well, tell me, where did you, you've been having, some intel come in with, the base there, and where do you see them going with this? And, are they going to actually divulge the dimensional vehicles and the transdimensional beings? Is that talked about?
I think sooner or later they're gonna be involved. They're gonna be involved. I live in the city of Crestview. Not too long ago, they talked to a congressman here on Crestview, and is actually one of the soldiers that from my unit, 7th group, that came out and went to a congressman and said, "Hey, I feel like telling you this, and there's aliens bases in different parts of the United States, and they're intertwining with humans, and they're making hybrids." And I think I know the guy that did this. I think he went in a couple missions that I have. He's a sergeant first class. He decided to go to the congressman, and now he's stationed overseas somewhere. He's still in the service. I think he got 4 years left to serve, and he kept himself confidential, like all the other soldiers that are keeping themselves confidential. I got in touch with the guy. He came back from overseas, the guy that gives me the green light to talk about these things, that he goes to Washington and back. And not too long ago, I released in one of my videos what we wear on these types of missions, the type of technology that these things have. They're like probably 350 or 300 years more advanced than what these rainbow units have. So I think what we're releasing now, everybody knows the unit. 7th group is in Eglin Air Force Base. Okay, there's a lot of different types of units in Eglin Air Force Base. We got Marines, we got Navy, we got Army, we got other countries that come here and they train with our pilots, and we take them to other locations. I myself saw pilots being trained by the Nordics, extraterrestrials, in north part of Alabama. So the things that are being released, some of the videos are coming from MacDill, where you have served, and also Eglin Air Force Base. So that connects these UFOs or plasmoids type of technology to these pilots.
Yeah.
They see, and they try to communicate with them, and then they communicate back, and it's like a communication from the 1861, Morse code type of communication, because they're so advanced and we're trying to communicate with them. They're communicating with us. So, but we do have a connection. We do have a connection with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's important people to know. If you guys are just joining us, JP and I have been part of some very classified projects in the active duty service with the military, and also after that with some contract work. So this information, we are not reporting on, oh, we read a paper or we know a guy that knows a guy. We know the people personally. We interacted with extraterrestrials. I've autopsied over 3,000 different tissue samples from extraterrestrials and craft. So this is, something that, we are firsthand. There's a lot of whistleblowers out there. They're great. They're coming forward with documentation and stuff, but there's only a few out there, like JP and I, who have actually had hands-on experience and communicated with these beings and worked with them side by side, actually.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about these suits. We had some really amazing super suits too in the projects for doing teletransportation travel and space travel, and even just working on Terra. This uniform that you mentioned, do you have a rendition, or do you have a picture of it you could share with us?
I think I sent you guys a picture.
Maybe Cameron can bring that up. I know Cameron's working in the background. Thank you, Cameron. And that'd be interesting to see these. It's a uniform or
Well,
suit?
it's not a uniform. It's you can, it has modules that you can make you can make arrangements depending on what type of missions you're gonna do.
Right.
So if you're gonna go on a craft, you have to go lighter, you know. So they're made for space missions, high altitude ops, hostile environments, extreme conditions, you know. So
yeah, no, yeah,
they're amazing, amazing suits.
Yeah,
amazing suits. One suit, one operation, no compromise. It keeps us safe, and we complete the mission with this. You know, they're like 350 years more advanced than what we have.
Yeah, impressive. Love it, love it. Yeah, they the suits that we were utilizing in the projects were pretty self-conforming, and it monitors everything in the body. It has consciousness assisted technology.
Oh yeah,
voice recognition. You know, it does a lot. You're hooked up to the mainframe for information if you needed it, and that was just working in the projects without even going on missions.
These helmets, man. This is I bought this online, but this is similar to what we wear.
Yeah.
You know, and I was wearing this all over the place before I showed my face. You know, they have integrated HUD, thermal vision, and communication. You know, real-time data that can show the mission.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Awareness of everything that's happening. So compare this to what the pilots of the F-16s have, you know, that they're connected with the jets.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So expensive technology.
Yeah.
You know, it has they call it the AGI suits, you know, augmented general intelligence types of suits. They know what you feel. The helmet itself is like the brain, and the suit it's the nervous system. So it's really exciting technology for space junkies if they get into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
so I didn't even care about it. You know, they just give it to you, and if you're chosen because of your DNA, they give it to you, and they have a different unit that takes care of these suits. Each of these suits are like above 800,000. You know, they're really expensive.
Absolutely. Yeah, as much as an aircraft. Yeah, I'm glad you touched on the DNA thing, because in the projects, you know, DNA was a big thing. You know, I must have been inoculated 1,000 times with extraterrestrial DNA. And it's because if you don't have the right DNA in you, the right frequency, that you can't even operate on these beings. They'll just dissolve. It's kind of like a
you can get sick too, depending on what kind of microbial life forms they have from their planet, you know, or what they're carrying. You can get sick. There's a guy in Brazil that he interacted with the ET. I don't know if you know that story. And then he went to the hospital. He brought the ET to the hospital, and he died because he touched this ET, the slime substance of the ET, and he passed away with.
Yeah, it's a big thing on crash retrievals. You know, we just don't go bum rushing in there. Just like the COVID vaccination can shed, you know, you can shed on someone and pick up that frequency. The same thing happens with these beings. So these suits that we use actually have their own density field and do not allow other frequencies to come in, because those frequencies, and this has been proven, you know, many times by shining a laser, you know, through a sterile water with E. coli on it, and then hitting a sterile bottle of water 20 feet away, it starts to replicate in there. This is all science that's been proven. Check out Rupert Sheldrake and a couple others there. I can't think of the names right now, but I'll post them a little bit later. So yeah, it's a fascinating thing. You know, the technology is out there. These super suits that have been in development, even most recently up in just 7 years ago as part of a project where these suits, we needed actually the suits to enter into an aquifer to collect 4.5 acres of mana. And the reason the company wanted the mana is to incorporate it into this type of dimethyene material to make it anti-gravitic. And so these things are already out there, and you're going to start seeing them for the fire department, paramedics, and police officers. Just a scaled down version of this technology. And since they are going to be releasing a lot more technology this year, I know Trump's got some things he wants to release a lot of the health technology and some of the other technologies that are going to help protect our first responders. So it's a great year for advancing and protecting our heroes on both sides. So
yeah, I want people to understand. I don't get into the how the presidents of the United States deal with things, but there's certain presidents that they put out information, they put out little codes. Like the first time he put out the med beds, and then he took it out all of a sudden. Then 3 weeks later, he puts a picture of himself in front of a medical bed. Okay, this is subliminal. He's not saying that he is, somebody that, but it's a subliminal message that they're putting out little by little. He put himself in front of somebody on a medical bed. And then like a month prior from that, he put out the med beds, and then he took it out. So everything has to do with medical. So there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be released with these different type of technologies that have integrated AGI, artificial general intelligence, and that's what's going to push these types of technology further out. I know the Chinese, the Russians, they have their own connections as well, but there's a reason why we did that meeting not too long ago.
The med beds are, it's a misconception out there with disinformation. I only know of one actually med chair that I've witnessed, that it will be probably released in around November, but the conditions have to be right for that technology. The technology that we have developed here, the frequency nonlinear systems that we have here are going to be used in all these med beds. And that's where we scan the body. You can look up that at Emery Star Labs, or put a link down there, Cameron, for the scans. So scanning the body, and then finding out the red flags, zooming into those all the way down to the pathogens that are responsible for causing these cancers and things. And then we can zap them with a scalar cosmotic wave and neutralize them. This is the technology is already here. It's incorporating it into a safe and effective manner. A lot of these systems, can be used as weapons. So it has to be, really under strict observation. I know Trump has an amazing med bed that he utilizes. I can't tell you anything about where he got it from or how that works. But so he's very aware of these technologies, and he wants them out for everyone. That's the great thing, is the support that we're getting finally politically, and getting this information out, and the education behind it is really imperative of how can you scan someone from a long distance and help them just with a picture and their DNA, a fingernail. Well, that's what we teach you. We teach you how these quantum system scans work when you're one of our patients, and it's a huge educational download. I see some people on this feed actually have had these scans. If you guys want to comment about it, you can. So it is moving in that direction. As far this is all reverse engineered technology. Technology built off of Tesla and Rife and Stubblefield and some of those leaders back in the day. We just have the most advanced system right now that's out there. There's lots of different quantum systems out there, but none of them do 4 million frequencies like ours does.
And I'm really happy you're bringing this type of technology out, because right now those other agencies are bringing out, oh yeah, we can hear a heartbeat through a mountain, and we can find the pilot from a mile away. Of course, because they have these type of technology. But when you have people like you that brings this to the public, that yes, you can heal somebody from far away.
Yeah.
Because everybody, we said that in stage, that everywhere you go, you leave a data. You leave a frequency everywhere you go. You can travel around the world and they can find your data everywhere that you went.
Yeah, even underwater or underground, your frequency is a beacon in the quantum field. And JP brought up, on stage about, he was sitting in a chair, he got up from the chair, he's pointing at the chair, goes, well, I'm still here. And that is absolutely true, and, I don't want us to get in trouble about how they follow the bad guys, but they can follow and see through special satellites, your trail of wherever you've left it for 30, 60, 90 days, sometimes up to a year, because that frequency stays in that area. And that's why when people die, the dogs kind of stay in the bed for a couple of months, because they feel that energy frequency.
It's like a bloodhound times a billion.
It is. All right. Well, I think we should get into, this. Let's get into that classified video right off the bat. If we can show that video, let the audience see this, and then, you and I are going to comment on that, of course. And Cameron is getting it ready, and that's I think he knows which one I'm talking about. We have so many documented videos that we're going to be sharing with you guys throughout the year, and we're excited to do that. And so when you actually got that second download, you were telling me that you thought that some of these things were definitely, of course, explainable. Was there one that stood out that you particularly?
Yeah, the one that came in formation.
Right. Yeah.
When I was in Eglin, I remember going to the field. We were out rucking, and we changed into black uniforms. They put us in a LMTV, and we changed into a black uniform, and we kept walking, trying to find our azimuth to a location, and we saw these ships in formation, and you see them small here, but these can be the size of cars. These ships, and
yeah, they're fairly
far. This is for a far distance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they operate on their own density field, and that's why they can travel like this. They're not. They're creating their own density field.
And I think I'm going to send it to.
Yeah, send it to Cameron, because I don't think he even has this one. So Cameron, we're going to send you. Is this it? Maybe this is it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it
right here. Yeah.
Yeah, I just pulled up the video you sent, JP. Yeah. This is it.
Yeah, this is the one that hasn't been released yet. It looks like a sphere.
Oh yeah. These are, that's a sphere.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the egg-shaped ships that this pilot was talking about.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Let me see if I got this video.
You can see how the light is reflecting around it. It's obviously not cloaked. We have cloaking technologies since Vietnam, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And we're in direct contact with those guys. We actually had a nice meeting with some of these guys. Cameron was there over the Sedona thing. And yeah, they had these cloaking devices for their F-4 Phantoms back in the day, creating their own density fields, being able to go, through things. And a lot of the craft we have today in the military are equipped with all that technology, but that's of course not talked about. A lot of these spheres too are what we call scanning drones, and they get dropped in. They're everywhere all the time. Most of the time they're cloaked. I have a special classified night vision. I know Cameron's used it. I'll have to show JP when he comes visits this in the summer. And it measures in 15 different wavelengths of light. Now there's hundreds of thousands of wavelengths of light that we just can't see. We're not engineered that way, or the DNA hasn't been activated yet, which we'll get into the DNA part a little bit later. And one of the things, when you do get activated, you know, there are special abilities that we all are capable of, which have been suppressed and stunted by a lot of electromagnetic frequencies and bioterrorism biologics that are out there, and nanobot technology that is in your system that you do we can get rid of that. You know, our scalar systems have radio frequencies that are programmed to you know, destroy the different types of elements that are in the inoculations and the spike proteins, and also the nanobots that we are constantly being bombarded with in our food and air supply. So this is a great video on, you know,
I think that's actually Arizona, Emery.
Arizona. And we have a lot of these spheres here in Nevada and surrounding areas. We go out and film them all the time, and they're definitely scanning. They're conscious. They do connect with the people that are out there doing contact work.
I just gave a video to Cameron of a sphere. That's a cool video because you see everybody reacting and all that. So it's really cool. And
put it out there, Cameron. Let's take a look at it.
And these videos. That's the feeling you get, you know?
Yeah. Good night. That's pretty bright. That's very luminous.
You can feel the excitement out of everybody, you know? So they come down, you know, and you have to have that love frequency, you know?
Yeah, I think you can pause it, Cameron. Yeah, you can put it back on. Yeah, I mean, this is happening more and more. You know, we get thousands of videos sent to us a day from, you know, people doing contact work, and I love it. You know, it's so beautiful. And this is also their soft disclosure for the civilians. Like, hey, we're here, just so you know. And we do want to make contact if you're ready. As long as you don't have, you know, fear, because they don't want to make you scared. They want you comfortable with it. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I'm ready. They can just, you know, land and, you know, come on out. And I've seen these people run like heck when these craft got very close within, you know, 100 meters of the group. And they slowly just start kind of backing away and analyzing everyone's emotional state. And it's okay, you know, if you do have fear of that first time or second time, but you do have to come to terms with these other beings that do exist. They're transdimensional beings. They can come in and out of this dimension. That's why a lot of these craft you see with air traffic controllers are in New York 1 minute, and then they're down at JP's house in Crestview the next.
Yeah.
It's not even hyper jumping. They're actually just opening up space and time. And it is a type of time travel.
It's amazing technology. Like I was talking to a scientist in Eglin Air Force Base, and he's like, oh, okay, let me explain to you a little bit more details how this is working out, you know, dude. Like, he's a surfer kind of scientist dude that works for the military. He says, okay, you take a portal like this, and they know how to open these portals. He's talking about the UFOs, the entities, and they open another portal like this, right? And they intertwine these mirrors to each other, and it turns into infinity until it's a mathematical, the way that the military is trying to back engineer this. They find the north and south magnetic pole, right? And they have to get the magnetic pole of planet Earth and also the sun, the moon, and it's a whole mathematical equation to open these portals and put them together to end up in the location where you want to end up. So they have a way to put two in between each other, and that's how they disappear and end up somewhere else, like quantum entanglement.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely the quantum field and dimensional field, interdimensional field, and they're harvesting the energy of these special ley lines, like JP just mentioned, that are in the whole universe. Like we have ley lines here on the planet. All planets have some sort of ley lines on them,
Yeah.
and the planets themselves have ley lines going from planet to planet all around the universe. So these ley lines are used as an energy source for these craft, kind of like over Unity free energy sources, to travel and traverse, the universe and other dimensions. And other dimensions also have a type of ley lines. Since we're talking about that, I have to drop the big bomb for everyone right now. There you go.
Oh yeah. And then like in every corner you have like the Bermuda Triangle, you got the Devil's Triangle, you got the pyramids, you got the Brazilian Arc. It's a beautiful science if people get into how the ancients used to build and how we're trying to copy them.
Yeah, it's to harvest the energy of the earth.
Oh my God, it's
unlimited energy,
mind blowing,
everywhere all the time. And it's going to be released. And this is some of the fun science that I'm looking forward to with the scientific disclosure part of this, not just the medical. That's really going to jumpstart the world in energy and medical and healing and all sorts of great things.
And it's kind of cool because the same thing you do with Earth, you do with your body, with the frequency of your body to heal your body.
It is. It's all frequency. Sound before form. So light, photons, and harmonic tonalities are the key, and nanotechnology. All my products are nanotechnology, so they don't have to be digested. They go right into the cellular matrix and through the cell membrane, the nucleus, the nucleolus, right to the DNA, and corrects that DNA and RNA and chromosomes. So yeah, so the portal thing. I'm gonna have to tell everyone, JP, definitely add to it. So everyone's thinking, the Armageddon, all these craft are to come one day, and the big disclosure day. And I see this, we see it in movies for the past 50 years. We've seen it, in the media. We've seen even our colleagues are talking about this on to some extent, but it really is not going to happen that way. I'm sorry, everyone. You're not going to have the White House long UFO come up. It doesn't work that way. The Galactic Parliament, or Federation, as pop culture calls it,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but imagine a spacecraft lands and there's a shootout like happened like a day ago. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, they could have done that a long time ago. This is a very serious diplomatic approach with the world leaders. It's not just one leader. Confirmation complete. Thank you, B2. And what's happening is this diplomatic meeting, it's actually going to be utilizing portal technology. So they're going to come down. We won't know where that's at, and that'll already be. Hold on, RKB2, stand down. The dragons are at it. So the portal technology allows them to kind of just show up. And this will be a pre-arranged meeting from what I'm told from the higher ups, not only the extraterrestrial group, but also our group here on Earth and inner Earth. So it is a big meeting where there will be a location divulged where they're going to meet everyone. And they will just kind of show up. So they're not coming down in their big Lamborghini aircraft and making a big scene of force, because that's what some of the black hats and governments around the world want, this evil alien invasion thing to happen. And if there is something like that, check with your heart, look at that and say, hey, that's a 3-dimensional hologram probably. Or if you see the nuts and bolts on it, their craft are seamless. They don't look like anything from Star Wars or anything like that. They mold into different shapes. It'll look very asymmetric and very organic to you if you were to see a real one. Like most of the crash retrievals that we've done, and their equipment looks like a rock or a log. It's very organic. You would just walk by it, not knowing what to look for. Like archaeologists know what to look for when they're looking for bones and meteorites. We have an attunement for that because that's what we've done our whole life. So moving forward, this meeting will be placed somewhere, I don't know when that is. When I find when that is, I'll let you guys know and pass that information. And many diplomats will be coming from these different civilizations to meet with the government leaders. Most of this is kind of being talked about, behind the scenes, and behind the scenes. Cameron, you can put us back on the thing. And they really want this to be the most non-threatening thing. Now, these negotiations have already started. Isn't that great? And that's why you have a lot of religious leaders meeting. A lot of different types of governments are meeting about this, how they're going to handle this, even in the science community, especially at the Vatican. There's going to be a lot of explaining to do. So when this happens, they're going to just meet somewhere, and I don't believe they're going to be representing themselves in a very scary fashion. So it's not going to be like something out of the Alien movie, with President Trump, shaking hands with this gruesome creature. They don't want that. They want the world to see that they're diplomatic, that they're full of love and compassion, and that they want to assist us in many different ways. They're not giving us all the technology, like it's not going to happen like that. We have a choice. This is what they said, that we have a choice when this happens for the leaders to, own up to everything and get the support of the people of the planet for a better civilization that doesn't have war, doesn't have poverty, clean water and housing and healthcare for everyone in baby steps, meaning it could happen overnight, these things. And they want to assist with that. And their technologies can help us build mega metropolises and healing centers. And, your longevity, if you can live another 2 years, 3 years right now, I can let you live another 5 years with the technology being released. Another 5 years get you 10 years. Another 10 years will get you 20 years. Another 20 years will probably get you another 50 to 100 years. That's how fast, just now, without their help, we're going. So with their help, this is going to be a big overnight transition.
Yeah, it's going to be a jump.
And there's going to be a lot of abundance. But you viewers out there have to be in the right heart stance. And we do have to drop the ego. We do have to come to terms with taking care of ourselves. I see everyone out there, and you're like this. Soldiers are like this. We want to take care of our families. We don't care. Yeah, my last bottle of water, here, drink it. We're good with that. But there comes a time, and JP and I had a very serious private conversation one day. And we know that, sometimes there's a lot of weight, and that weight is on all of us. We all have our different weights we carry, and we have to come to terms with that weight. And we have to see what is serving us and what is not serving us. And this is very crucial for contact, because it breaks their hearts to see us not taking care of these skin suits. It breaks their hearts to see us arguing with each other over minuscule things. And a big help that's going to happen for this is telepathy. The communication factor is the key for our survival, believe it or not. When you can communicate without using all the different languages that we have, which we're a very diverse culture with races and politics and religion, that everything seems to go away. And it's kind of like that thing when I know JP's experienced this when we're traveling abroad and all around the world, and we're out at a music festival or a concert or a dance club and everyone is dancing into the same rhythm. They want us to be on the same tonality and rhythm. It's very important for us to accept the love, compassion, and scientific advancements that we're going to need to pack into this little piece of fat between our ears, and also our energetic fields, which are operating on multiple levels and interdimensionally, which we're going to be, you guys are going to be taught that, of course. We can say a little bit about it, but there's a lot going on with your interdimensional aspect that affects other planetary civilizations. So the fact that other planets started right when we did, the same, human race, they're 2,000 years more advanced than us because we have been suppressed. And it has made us really tough. We're a really tough race. They think we are the superheroes of the universe, actually, because we've been through so much. We do have a very short lifespan compared to most extraterrestrials, and that's to be expected because we're still kind of at that baby level of consciousness. So raise your consciousness, get out there and ground, start meditating, and start communicating. Go outside and look up. Just look up. These little blinks of lights it might start off at, or an alleged meteorite or alleged plane, is actually packets of information because you accepted that you wanted to make contact. And it's as easy as just, transmitting your consciousness thought sequencing and saying, yeah, hey guys, I'm ready for contact. I want to be of service to humanity. What can I do? Don't ask for a Shamu show. They're not here for a Shamu show. They want to see commitment. They want to see the commitment that you're going to go forward with your word and what you said. And that says a lot. What do you think, JP? I just had to get that out because, they're coming really soon. I'm not going to be, I don't do the predictions, I'm not going to do the channeling. I'm just saying it's very soon. And we need to be prepared for that. And you need to talk to your family members about it, but not push the fact yet, because some of them are, I get it. A lot of you have family members, they don't believe in this, which is fine. Even though the government said they have bodies, the government said they have craft already. This is kind of funny for me because I didn't know it was going to come this soon. I actually thought it was going to come a couple of years from now, and it's here right now. So watch Cosmic Disclosures, season 1, episode 1, and see how scared shitless I was when I came out for those 7 or 10 seasons. That all came true, and it's going to get a lot deeper. And I don't believe the followers here are going to be in shock at all. But I do know how a lot of people have people living with them and best friends and family members that have their own belief system, and it's not that you're going to be sitting there preaching to them. It's more like, here's some information and that's it, let it go. And you're prepared.
So humanity right now, human beings, we're all going through a storm. Okay. We're going through a storm right now. We're going to enter an elevator. When you enter an elevator, you're not going to see how the next room is going to be. You're not going to see how different the next room. You're in the storm. You're entering in the elevator, leaving the room behind that you're going to be. And once you enter into the elevator, you get into the other rooms, you're going to start seeing things differently. You're going to start seeing things differently when things are revealed to you. Yeah. Like we're trying to reveal the truth of what's happening with our experiences. And it's going to shock a lot of people, a lot of religion, the things that are going to come out. This is, like I said before, it's dust, and I believe that, these videos are and there's always going to be somebody that does not believe. There's always going to be one person saying, this is bullcrap. We should have had something else. We should have had this or that come out. Let's worry about the bills. Forget about ETs. Forget about UFO. But they don't know that this is going to affect the economy. Okay, when this comes out, it's going to affect the way you live is going to affect the communication that you're having with your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
Because this can be a can of worms or a can of candies, depending how you take it. But yeah, you can still use worms to fish, but you just have to learn how to fish in order to get this information out to the right people that want to hear this information. That's why I love the people that are here making the sacrifice, hearing this information, hearing what we have to say, seeing videos that haven't been released yet. And it's going to change. This is going to change the world. Okay. These experiences, these more soldiers coming out, having firsthand experience is going to change the world. And, yeah, like you said, Emery, there's a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, I saw this, but yeah, he told me that this happened. So I think, yeah, we have experience of working with these guys. Okay. They are smart. Okay. They are beyond comprehension IQ. All right. We have met with these entities. We know about the spiritual and interdimensional realm. We know there's a God above all things that are letting this happen. Okay. This is happening for a reason. All this is being transformed into one. Okay. And once it transformed into one, we're going to understand life better. We're going to know how to love better. We're going to know how to bring them down, our family and friends. We're going to know how to bring them down on command when they release the real deal of documents that we're releasing. It's only a handful, that releases the information that we release. It is. And for us, I take a shower sometimes, Emery, and I cry in the shower. For like, I know tomorrow is going to be a tough day for us because I cry because I feel that I've been through a lot as a soldier, and I know other soldiers have been through the same thing and I have lost friends, and we choose to be to service. We choose to live this life, to live this life for the freedom of this nation, and I will never give my back to these organizations. I always tell people, if you don't have nothing to do in your life, join the military. I would never talk bad about all these soldiers that are sacrificing right now their life. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They're doing classified projects, if they're doing regular missions, or if they're doing something else, and we don't choose to experience what we want to experience. I thought I was going to join the military and just be a regular soldier and work in the unit. So when they told me in the beginning, hey, yeah, we want you to go to this office and we want you to do this test, and we know you're seeing these things and you're taking these pictures of these UFOs, and we just want you to join. All right, we just want you to join. If you want your life better, just join. And I joined. I did not know I was gonna go to a big ark in the middle of the Atlantic and see ancient writings on the walls in the ark of the Pacific, or go to the Grand Canyon and see a ship that is floating in the middle of a hallway that was made inside the canyon. I did not know I was going to go to these missions. And there's other soldiers still in and they want to stay in because they're serving their country, and we're releasing it. We're releasing these things like this for a reason. There's a reason behind everything, how we're releasing things, okay? How we're releasing different things, because there is still evil people out there. There's people that don't care about life. There's people that don't care about your body, you know, and being a soldier and seeing this happen, you know, and how, you know, we can't choose how they release these things, but it's tough. It can be tough sometimes on all of us, because we want it released the right way, and we don't want this to confuse or cause a ruckus. You know, it's going to make a lot of people cry when the things come out, the real things come out. A lot of people are going to cry because they're not going to comprehend, and it's going to hurt a lot of people in their minds. They're gonna there's people that can go crazy, and I know soldiers that have been through these experiences, and now they're somewhere else because they couldn't take it. You can't take this information, you know, and if we, you know, if we care about each other, you know, I care about you, Emery. You know, you call me every time, say, "Hey, bro, how you doing? I feel you, and I really appreciate you by doing that." You know, and that really matters. And it's not only soldiers calling soldiers; it's you calling your family member, you calling your son or daughter, saying, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? I love you. Make sure you call me. Leave a message. You know, if you never talk to them, leave a message. You know, tell them you're around." That's what we need as humanity, to be together and get on this roller coaster together. You know, there's gonna be a lot of G-force. There's gonna be a lot of loops. There's gonna be a line for the other people that are gonna get on the same ride. But your job is to get on this roller coaster and tell people behind you, "Hey, this is a hell of a ride. This is an awesome ride. Get to the other side." You know, so I think that's what's gonna happen. We got people like us that have been on the roller coaster before other people, and it's a heck of a ride. It's a beautiful ride. We want people to experience what we have experienced.
Yes.
You know, but there's people that don't want to get on the roller coaster because they're scared.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said, JP. You know, there's so many white hats behind the scenes that no one knows about that are doing amazing work, not just getting us information, but making the right choices for humanity. The unsung heroes, say a prayer for them tonight that are still alive. There's many who have passed. It's deep. It's deep, people. It's deep. You know, it's a blessing, and it's a lot of weight to hold this information and only be allowed to release, you know, bits and parts at a time. But it's part of the progress, part of that roller coaster waiting in line, and, you know, making sure everyone arrives safely back from that roller coaster ride, because it's so spectacular and it's so beautiful and it's so enlightening to know that you were right this whole time, that this was a matrix and this was a program that controls psionically people on the masses, mind control. And there is the demon aspect of that in the spiritual realm, that they walk in, pretend to be extraterrestrials, even possibly, you know. So be on your guard and, you know, use your heart to, you know, have discernment for these things. And these people behind the scenes are really doing a tremendous job, you know, which, you know, we can't talk about that, but I just want to let you know there is a force that we're all connected to, and there's a force that we work with, JP and I and the team, that are really protecting us and allowing us to say what we're saying right here today and inform you guys of this great meeting that's going to be happening very soon, and the technology, and also allowing you guys to have a platform for, to go to listen to us. And there's more people coming, like JP said. We know hundreds and hundreds of Emerys and JPs, but they have to be safe, and there's a time for that. There was a time for me to come forward when I did. There was a time for JP to come forward when he did. And it's growing. And no matter what happens to us, there's many others that will be put in place. And that makes me really happy to know that we're not just the only ones. You guys are not the only ones having these experiences. You're going to have a lot more experiences, and you have a family to go to on the Cosmic Disclosure Alliance page and on JP's platform, and of course my platforms, to reach out and talk to people about these experiences. And these are all upregulating your DNA to make contact and to help you move and transition through this plasma field that we're going through right now, which is ever changing every day because of the different things that are happening and the different timelines that are being constructed for our well-being.
It's a beautiful ride when you experience it, Emery. And I think all this, right? It's right now. Everybody's talking about it. Yeah, everybody's talking about the ETs and all that. But I think this is a time to get closer to your spiritual self. To your higher self. This is a time that we need a spiritual guidance. It doesn't matter what religion you're in. Just get to your spiritual lineage. In order to go the next level. In order to go to the next level, you need to be in a higher spiritual. Start meditating. Start eating well. Start taking care of everything around you, not just yourself. Take care of how you do things. Be organized. Make things easy for your life financially. I feel that everybody here is gonna. I see a financial breakthrough on everybody that is watching this right now.
Absolutely.
Look into yourself. Look into your what your knowledge is in order to bless other people, in order to make other people happy. I feel that we're going to bless a lot of people with different technologies and even financially, if they help us. And I said this on stage, I went to a grocery store and I saw this lady with 3 kids. And when I saw her and she was pushing the cart was full. She was in front of me and I looked at her and I was like, oh man, my wife is going to kill me. I took out my credit card and I paid for her food, and I know all these people that are buying this product, we don't just use the money because it's for us and all that. Sometimes we use it to help others. We use it to help others prosper, to invest on other. And I really thank you, Emery. You helped me so much in my life by coming here and teaching me certain things, and I have put it in play, Emery. And I know that if we teach each other how to be more prosperous, to bless others, we're going to get 10 times full of the blessing, because everything is a frequency. When you give out your best, when you give out your heart, when you give out everything that comes from you, you get 10 fulls, because the universe sees that. You get 10 full back of blessing, when you do the right thing for your body, to buy something for your body, the universe will bless you 10 times to bless other people about it, and that's what people need to understand. It's not here because we want to make a show. We're not here because we want to share, and scare people about our experience. No, we have been through things, and these things have changed the way we see things in the real world. And we want people to get on the same roller coaster with us and ride. The roller coaster doesn't have only 2 seats. It has hundreds of seats with 2 different types of roller coasters going in the same pattern. When you go to a park, right? When you go to a park and you see a roller coaster, you don't just see one roller coaster going on. You see 2 or 3 doing rotations. And I love that analogy. Somebody told me this analogy, and I love it, because once you enter one side, you got to come out from the other side. And that's what we need to do. And when you come out from the other side, you tell somebody else, hey, oh my God, bro, you're gonna see these technologies, bro. You're gonna meet these people on the other side that have rode the ride with you, and they are nodding their head. Oh yeah, we love it. Let's get on it again. And you go on it with other people, and you're like, yeah, I told you you gotta like this. You gotta like this, So it's amazing. It's amazing when you meet like-minded people. And everybody that's watching this are like-minded people that want to experience or have experience, and sometimes you do have to invest to experience. You do have to invest in yourself, in prayer, invest yourself in meditation, taking care of your body. It's an amazing experience when you start opening the doors for other people. When you start opening the doors for other people, because you have the key and they don't need a key. You have the key to open the door, and they're right behind you, or you're pushing somebody with you to feel the same frequency and the same love and the same care and the same wisdom. There's a lot of keys being released, and people are going to find these keys and open doors for a lot of people. That's why I'm saying that a lot of people are going to be prosperous, Emery.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely see that coming on, more than one avenue for the people of this planet, and definitely the people that are, watching this are definitely going to be blessed with this. The whole thing is, educating, you guys on how to take care of yourself. And that's what we do here at Emery Star Labs, Darla and I. It's all about education. We have definitely saved thousands of lives, with our technology that we want to be able to share, that everyone will be able to use this technology in their own homes, very cost effectively, and become their own practitioners. A lot of people are just, there's some of the basic things are just, move around a little bit. You should work out and eat healthy and get some sleep. A lot of people on here, they don't sleep. Sleep's great for connectivity. It's the only time your body regenerates by itself, and it's the only time your body completely leaves itself to explore new things. And these downloads you get during dream time are very important. All the dreams you have are important messages for your body. And most importantly is take care of your emotional state. Whatever's causing you unhappiness, you better cast that off. Cast it out. If it doesn't serve, you need to get rid of it. Ask yourself those questions tonight.
Oh my God, emotional state. Emotional state. You can see this line and it looks perfect. You can see this line and it looks super perfect, but when you look at it in the microscope, it's all curvy and it's all messed up. Make sure your line is, when I say line, make sure your emotional state is straight for people to see. But we know people suffer. We know people go through tough times in their life. We know people lose loved ones. They lose beautiful pets. They lose their jobs and all that. But try to walk the straight line, and show people the straight line. There's a lot of people suffering emotionally because of the experience. And I'm so happy there's a lot of soldiers that retire without experiencing what we experience. You know why I'm happy? Because they're not going through what we're going through, Emery. They haven't experienced what we experience, you know, because if everybody experienced what we experienced, I don't think that a lot of people can take this. A lot of people, but that's why we're here. For all the soldiers that have served and have experienced what we experienced, that's why we're here to also share these type of technologies that we saw and the type of technologies that we experience. And we do got the green light from the higher ups, you know.
Absolutely.
I'm talking to big people that we're going to do big things, Emery.
No, it's incredible what's being set in our alignment, JP. We celebrate every day being alive, JP and I, and we celebrate with all the positive things that God has put before us and this amazing path that this is what we've always wanted. And now it's just getting the collective to come on board with us, because JP and I cannot do it by ourselves. It's overwhelming. It's too much. And we definitely need your support. And we'll tell you how to help us, later on in the show. But this is something that every one of you watching this will be affected. Many of you on here, I see a couple names, I won't point them out, know where this is going on an abundance level that you cannot comprehend. Abundance for me is good health. Okay. Of course, prosperity is great, but it's about yourself and how you can come to truth with yourself and the others around you. And I think, what JP said, walking this line, everyone has been given a line. And it's up to you what you want to do with that line. This free will you have can lead you to the most amazing things you want. And all you have to do is make it happen by manifesting it and telling yourself that, yeah, I'm expecting this miracle to happen. It will happen, and it's going to happen. And, we talk here, JP and I, what we went through wasn't, very easy and grandiose. And you can ask my team and my wife about this with all the other Emerys and JPs out there that are not coming forward. It is a very we don't see it as a very heroic thing what we went through, because there were some things that came along with that.
Oh yeah.
We didn't come out unscathed by far, but we're dealing with that, and we have help to deal with that.
The white hats are helping us. Yeah.
And they're helping us, physically, mentally, astrally, transdimensionally. And we're blessed that they are helping us, because we wouldn't be here right now if we didn't have this mega support system put in place for us to relay you this confidential information that's going to be released anyway, but we're giving you heads up, and we're really proud to do that for you guys. And thank you, JP, personally, for always being there for those crazy moments where you just never know what's going to happen. And
yeah,
it's great to have you on the team.
Appreciate it.
There are a lot of questions I see people were asking, and if you guys want to go into a Q&A right now so we can answer some of those specific questions, that's why you guys are here too, is to voice your concerns and voice the questions. And there's no question that, you can ask us anything. I'm sure JP or I will be able to answer that to the best of our conscious abilities, because, we do want to interact with you guys. These little webinars we do, we get to know each other a little bit more personally, and we have a lot more coming up. But today, if you do have any questions for JP or myself or the both of us, you can write those questions in, and Cameron's going to put them in a special link thing that we have here that JP and I can see. And I'll have Cameron just start listing those questions. And then if he wants to pop one up that's relevant for pretty much anything to do with anything, we'll start knocking those out. Is that okay, JP?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's unloading every day. We have so much information coming, and going through that information and triaging the information to where it's needed for the masses, I think is one of the goals that JP and I have in plan for the world. Because sometimes, we don't cover, of course, everything in a couple hours, but over time, when you go back and look at JP's videos and our videos that we both have and my videos, there's a lot of information on there. You can learn a lot about all the stuff we're talking about and all that. So Cameron, I'll let you throw anything up that you might have.
Emery and JP, with the precedent of the war.gov/UFO second drop of declassification, while we're getting the guests here, the viewers in the chat asking questions, I was hoping we could put these videos of the UFOs that were just dropped.
Oh yeah.
And you guys could provide your comments in what we're looking at.
Yeah. Let's start that. Yeah, that's fun. I want to explain some of these.
Cool. And then I'll start going through the questions.
Okay, sounds good. Just start with.
Yeah, here we go.
Got it.
It's a beautiful day today, Emery. Beautiful day.
Yeah, it's really nice here in Vegas and in the surrounding areas.
Oh wow, Vegas is beautiful. The weather over here, we had a lot of rain.
Oh really? Yeah. Well, yeah. It's that season. Every day at 3, right?
Every day at 3. Department of War. There we go.
All right.
1 billion views. 1 billion views. Now everybody's interested, huh? Isn't that ironic?
That is ironic.
Everybody's interested now.
You guys, just for posterity and for everybody watching, what you can do is you can go to war.gov/UFO, and there we had amazing synchronicity. First day of Rise of the Guardians, May 8th, 2026. Synchronistically, we had the quote first official drop of the UFO files. So you can go to the website.
And it happened when Emery and I was on stage. Huh? Isn't it? Awesome.
So what you can do is you can scroll down and you can see the release number 1. You can actually download all the documents. You can download all the videos. And then you can go to release number 2. And you can download again the documents, and you can download the videos and have them personally on your own computer or devices. So let's jump right into these videos on the tranche number 2 that was just released May 22nd on Friday.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was funny, JP, when we both got alerted and we were on stage.
Yeah.
Of course, that was because of us, JP.
Signal, huh?
Oh, okay, here we go. This is over the ocean or Arizona? Which one's this?
Look at that speed. Oh, those are the ones. Yeah, look at that.
Now, I do want to point out that a lot of craft that look like they're in formation, and JP can attest to this, and I want people to start looking for this. This is why I'm mentioning this, because people don't look for this. Someone will say, my gosh, there's 3 craft in the sky right now, equidistant from each other, or there's a flotilla of craft coming this way, all moving the same speed, not jumping around. That's actually what, JP? One craft.
One craft.
One craft, believe it or not. Kind of like the Phoenix Lights. One craft. It wasn't, the multiple ones. Here's an interdimensional one, bleeding in and out. These are infrared heat and night vision type things that we use. This is, of course, on a craft.
Oh, and that's the one that breaks into 4. Look at this one. This one's really interesting. It breaks into 4, and this is the one that I say it could be the size of little cars, when we went to Eglin and we were rucking, we had a team that can bring these ships down, and these ships, they were the size of minivans, and they looked militarily, but they were bluish in color and marble white in color, so you can see how smooth and beautiful they were when they get close, and they have the ability to change shapes and forms.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, because these craft too, you might see one little speck, but there's no time and distance. There is no sense of dimensionality, because one speck of light could be 10 football fields and a whole civilization in there. So they can compress all that, and you just see an orb. Orbs are very misunderstood, and lens flares are misunderstood. When ETs kind of connect with us using just regular instrumentation, whether you guys are using radar detectors or storm trackers or lightning trackers like I have on when we take things out, it's because they can train your phone, your camera, your lens, and they do with the orbs, lens flares, and the orbs. The reflection of light is a packet of information in that picture, even though you think it's a dust particle or a reflection off the ocean or whatever. There's a lot of information that has been done by the Navy to decipher these anomalies that people have on their cameras. So I want you guys to think of a bigger picture of that. These craft, a lot of the craft, unfortunately, are alien reproduction vehicles, which I know JP knows a lot about. He's seen a lot of these as well as I have.
Yeah.
And they could easily, be misinterpreted as, a real extraterrestrial craft. Most extraterrestrial craft don't want to be seen. It does happen all the time. They have malfunctions just like we do. They can be shot down. When they enter our dimension, our 3D dimensional field, they fall under the science of our scientific 3-dimensional field. So it's not like they're bulletproof, which they can be, but things do happen and accidents happen, and we do have horrible weapons.
Yeah.
We have horrible weapons that are actually used specifically for acquiring these craft that are not in the best interest of our friends that are visiting us from afar. And, they are aware of that. And not all of them
they take the risk of coming here, because they got their black hats trying to get their information.
Yeah, and a lot of them do send, programmed life forms, different types of extraterrestrials that they have, clones and types of drones that are alive, but also mechanical, I'll say. And a lot of these crash sites that we've been on did not have real genetic live beings. They were these different types of programmed life forms that look just like you and I, but they're highly they're just very amazing androids that are that do resemble living tissue. And you're going to see a lot of that in the future too, traveling amongst the stars. That transhumanism is going to be a thing in the future. I know Elon talks about this, and we're slowly going to be going into that. We already have the brain chips. In the projects, they've already done this where they, one of the projects I was involved with is, osseointegration. I became an osseointegration expert because I invented the first platelet-rich plasma device where we're mixing concentrated cells and tissue into titanium, and it's growing into the titanium. And that was in the 90s. So today they have, a lot more better stuff that's more advanced that I'm aware of, where they're growing living structures around, mechanical and circuitry type things. And these things can be in public. There's lots of them in public. You wouldn't know. And I did a great episode on cosmic disclosure. Go to Emery Star Labs, emerysmith.co, and sign up under Gaia, my ambassador program. Please show your support. And if you already have a Gaia subscription, go ahead and cancel it out and just go join on that one. And it's really amazing to know that we already had this stuff in the 90s. And today it's much more advanced. Are these playing consecutively?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a real.
Did I miss anything that you want to talk about? We'll just let them keep playing, but please comment if you have, you know, they are around the craft, they're around the ships, you know, they're scanning, they might have some valuable material, I'll say, on that craft that they're trying to transport the military, and they pick up on everything, every type of radioactive isotope or special materials, including materials from down craft. They want to know why we have it and what we're doing with it, and if it's going to be used to injure, or in the future, looking into the future, they kind of know what, you know, we're kind of a self-destruct, you know, we're kind of a self-destruct society, unfortunately. And they want to prevent that from happening, which they have demonstrated, of course, over the nuclear sites.
You see how our technology can follow the ship even when it goes into the ocean? It goes into the ocean and we still know where it is. You know, we have technology that is getting up there advanced, and these ETs know about that as well. You know, we're stepping up from the ladder to technology that is getting similar to theirs, and they're comprehending that we're moving fast in technology.
Yeah, they're very aware of our advancements. You know, we're hundreds and hundreds, even thousands of years more advanced in these projects. And that's why it's kept so secret. And because they're trying to monetize off of different things. This night vision scope, if any of you ever come, I might be doing something in September, some contact work. If you ever come with me, I let everyone use these, and it does have exactly what JP says, just like that. It has the tracking on it. So you might not be able to see it, but the computer on the scope will point it out to you while you're looking through it. And then you can zoom in on it and change your different wavelengths to see it in real time. And Cameron actually has pictures utilizing that special night vision camera that shoots in many wavelengths, that has a tracking system on it. And even though you might not see it on one of the wavelengths, it will put the square on it and it will track it for you. And then you can toggle through the different wavelengths to see what wavelength that it's resonating in.
Wow, look at the speed. Their speed is like unbelievably, you can't comprehend it because it's like a blink of an eye.
Some of these craft are not completely formed in this dimension. These craft might just be showing a part of the craft, which is actually just phased out just a couple of frequencies for its cloaking, and we might just be seeing this white light. We see this a lot in the projects. We see this a lot in contact work, where a small speck of light will actually turn into a larger craft where you can see it. So they are there all the time. They're everywhere. They're just not phased in completely into this dimension.
Over the ocean, similar to the ones we saw in the sky that we showed earlier, and it splits into one going inside the water. In Puerto Rico, off the shore of Puerto Rico, the deepest part of Puerto Rico, we get a lot of these coming out. The oceans in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I've done a lot of work out at Bayamon and out there in Culebra Island.
Oh yeah, the Culebras. I know.
Yeah. And you know what's out there? There's a lot of underwater facilities, underwater extraterrestrial bases. Go ahead.
Avatar projects over there.
Yeah.
Look at them dancing. Like, no, you go that way. I go this way. All right, I got you. Copy that. Roger that.
we have a joke when we see that happening asymmetrically that it's just a couple of extraterrestrial teenagers having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the 40 videos consecutively that are all together that we're watching on war.gov/UFO drop number 2. There's like 40 or so videos that we're watching consecutively. We're almost to the end here of the videos. Now, I have a question. What is being redacted here in the black boxes?
That's the basically the GPS coordinates, the flight aircraft information, the pilot information,
Location.
Location. Go ahead, JP. You know, you can, I mean,
So yeah, they don't really want to show other nations where we're recording these orbs or where we're recording these UFOs, because they have a lot of bad technology that can capture these entities, you know, these interdimensional beings. So we keep it redacted for the protection of them and for the protection of the pilot that is taking this video.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a great video. These are great videos to release for the soft disclosure, I believe. I think, you know, this will slowly open up people's minds because, you know, everyone wants to kick the tires on the spaceship, you know. Don't come to my contact work if you're looking for a Shamu show. Come to my contact work if you're really wanting to connect with an open heart and not expecting, have no expectations, and, you know, be yourself and be one with the group.
That's going to be amazing, that contact show.
Yeah. I'm getting some dates here. Being out there in Sedona inspired me to, you know, do this. You know, I do have a VIP clinic I run, you know, 3 or 4 times a year where people can come down and get treated. And then we do another sky watch, you know, Emery's contact work. I have a special protocol utilizing things that I've learned in the military and also in the projects, and also, you know, afterwards. Getting out.
I was hearing rumors, and I was telling you that the third batch is going to have even better stuff.
Yeah, no, and you know, we were privy to that, JP, which we do want to show you guys, but you know, we're not authorized, and it has to be done. You know, we do follow orders to an extent, and you know, it's going to be exciting. There's going to be more and more of these videos that give a little bit better explanation of, and it's great for the viewers to see all the different stuff. You know, they have unlimited information. You know, they have videos of extraterrestrials, they have videos of working craft up close, like you could do with your iPhone, but it's just not an appropriate time for that.
JP, any of the videos that we just looked at, without any sensitive disclosing of information, were any of those videos near some of the military bases that you worked on?
Yes.
Do you have a video that you want to show us? I think you're on site somewhere.
No, I was gonna share it, but I don't think I can be able to show it. I have red dots on all the videos that I can't show, so I saw the red dot, so I'm like, crap.
All right, let me back up, restart, redo. We'll just skip over that and jump into some questions. How's that?
Let's go.
So the Department of War is working actively, releasing information consistently because it was promised. And they're also working behind the scenes on this meeting and how it's going to take place, where it's going to take place. And they're not just sitting around, is what I'm saying. It is orchestrated the way they're doing this. Richard Priest, hi, Emery. I'd like to attend the meeting. Can that be arranged? Thank you for the work that you do, Richard. Yeah, absolutely. Just, you know, join our register and subscribe at emerystarlabs.com or emerysmith.co, both of those, and join the Cosmic Disclosure Alliance page for the updates. Like I said, right now we're looking at dates and star alignments, and also seeing when they're available, which is everywhere all the time. But yeah, so it has to be in special alignment, because we need some. When I bring people out, it's always an amazing experience. You can ask anyone who's been out with me. It's pretty instant. Melissa Claypool, is there ET tech that uses a little light on either side of the eye, similar to Emery's glasses? Well, extraterrestrials are genetically modified, and they don't have ever bad eyesight or anything like that. But if you're interested in that kind of technology, everything is reverse engineered technology. And I think, medically, when a lot of these things get released, these patents from the inside, you're going to see a lot more of that stuff. What does JP stand for? That's classified, Kim Ashton. We cannot.
I can tell you. It's my first name, Jorge. My last name, Pabon. It means Pabon is an old family over there in the north part of Spain. They used to serve for the king of Spain as knights, and they used to protect a lot of different things for the kings over there in Spain. So it means peacock, Pabon. So we have a lot of land over there still in Spain. So yeah, we my great grandpa came down and moved to Puerto Rico, and he married a Taína Indian from Puerto Rico. Taínos are native from Puerto Rico, and they, from there on, my great grandfather served in World War II. My other grandpa served in the military as well. My father did not serve, but my uncle served as a bomb inspector in Kentucky, and then I started serving. So and we all had experience. They all have had experience. Now, I want people to understand that this is sometimes a generational thing that happens, with experiences. So my great grandpa had experiences. So it goes way beyond time and DNA and all that. And so Jorge Pabon. I went beyond, but there we go.
Spencer Alford, would you two be open to speaking and having a night watch in Austin, Texas? Yeah, basically, guys, JP and I are booked out for like the entire year. So just showing up and doing things, hopefully in the near future, next couple of years. The projects we're working on to benefit humanity, like the Emery's spaceship healing experience that we're building out at the Las Vegas spaceport. If you guys, we're going public with the spaceport, by the way, just a quick note. Pretty soon, if you want to get interested or invested in that, you might want to go to emerystarlabs.com and click on spaceport. Yeah, and we, JP and I have also, other classified projects, personal projects that we're working on together to help humanity and to educate humanity on what to do next when this happens. You guys are going to really need some information, and we're going to be probably doing some more webinars with JP and others, group webinars to explain when this happens, what to expect. What is your job during this? Because everyone has a mission when this happens. Your whole life's going to change overnight, and you have to be prepared for that, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. And I can't stress that more. And that's why, we're doing a lot of these scans and getting people healthy. And education is really the key here, because not everyone really knows what to do. And we understand that, and we try to break that down as simple as we can, because we really care about you guys. We really need you guys on board with this. It's a group collective thing. It's not JP and me. It's all of us. It's one, like you said, and that's what they like to see. When you have the oneness, you just kind of, that's the first part of this battle, is becoming one and dropping the ego and loving your neighbor, and doing the right thing. It's kind of simple, but sometimes people need to know their decisions that they're making just doesn't affect you and your family. It affects all of us in the group collective consciousness. And I talk about this on Gaia TV. There's races that all are group consciously connected all the time, and they know it. There's no secrets. Everyone's there to support everyone else.
Yeah.
And we're moving in that direction. They were once us. Don't forget, they all have human DNA, and we have extraterrestrial DNA too, all of us. Different percentages of different star systems and different races.
Tammy Clark, do either of you offer training for us to learn to bring them down at will? Thank you both for your service. I believe that we have the ability, and we have different techniques. Everybody have a different technique of how to bring them down. But yes, there is certain ways that we can teach. And I know Emery has his ability. I have my ability, but yeah, there's certain ways that, and I think if they go to that, September, you can probably give pointers of how these things work, right, Emery? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I do these things, you do go home with a plethora of information. I do private trainings. If you go to emerystarlabs.com and go under services, I do private one-on-one trainings or group trainings through a Zoom call. Depends on how many people you're bringing in to give you the basics, or if you're an advanced already contactee, I have definitely advanced things you can do. That's something you can register for, and you can actually drop an email there, fill the questionnaire out, and I'll get back to you on that for sure. So these are things that are being offered on the new website if you are interested in contacting us directly. But we're definitely going to schedule it, and I have to work with JP's schedule too, because we want him to be there as well, and a couple of others that you guys know, but I'm not going to say their names yet. And it'll be a great experience.
It'll be exciting.
It'll be really exciting, and we'll have the crew. My whole team will be out there, of course, and we'll be teaching you some really cutting-edge contact work stuff that has not been taught before on anything or any other platform. As a special protocol that we use. JP uses it all the time. So yeah, that's definitely going to happen. David Carey. Hey, David, how you doing? Will be allowed to go off planet to meet ETs and learn through their training technology. Yeah. One of the biggest things that I've spoke with the extraterrestrials about is education. We have to get the knowledge. The knowledge is everything. We're going to do a lot of training here before we go amongst the stars. And that's another thing. When we go amongst the stars, it's not going to be loading up into a giant freighter ship and going somewhere from A to B. That's kind of archaic. So, when people are talking about even evacuating the planet, if they were to evacuate the planet, we would not be jumping on these giant craft. We would be using portal technology that JP spoke of. Yeah. And it'll be a safer, instantaneous way to go. And that technology already exists. So it's just a matter of, getting it out and getting the permission slips from the Galactic Parliament Federation in allowing us to travel amongst the stars in a more civilized way.
I want people to understand that it's going to go by levels. We're first going to interact with the beings inside of our oceans, with the inner Earth type of beings, the beings that are living in Antarctica, in our sphere first. prior of connecting to the ETs that are coming from out there. So we have beings here that are so advanced living in our oceans that when that information, I think it could be the third batch or maybe fourth, depending of how they push it. But these, congressmen already talked about it. A lot of people have talked about it, that these beings, most of them come from our oceans, and we got to be prepared with their technology. They're going to help us out prior of meeting these ETs that are there, that are helping us.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because everyone's thinking about the ETs from space when there's so many civilizations that are living here and have been living here way before we came along. Yeah, in the oceans and in the earth. That's all documented. That's not even secrets anymore. You can, like I said, we talk a lot about that on Cosmic Disclosure 2 and on our free YouTube videos on the Cosmic Television Network. Definitely join up to the YouTube channel, Cosmic Television Network, which you'll see this probably at some point in a couple months. We're not releasing this video right now, but you'll be able to, purchase it on our website. How do the Melissa Claypole, how do the orbs and ETs find you in dream time? Well, you got to set your intention before you go to bed that you want contact. Maybe take some of the nano rose gold I have. All our solutions do have ormus in it, which helps open the pineal gland and decalcify it. I really think, your intentions before you go to bed and your affirmations of how wonderful you are and how much you love yourself and you would like to make contact is a good start. JP's gonna
make sure you write things down.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Write things what you really want for your life. It really works. It really works when you have the visual and you have the connection of what you really want, and write it in cursive. Don't write it in regular letters. Write it in cursive. Look at that. That intrigues your mind to create more pathways in your brain, your neurons, when you write in cursive. So and use white paper and blue pen. It works.
Shermy Page asked, do you think we'll be traveling throughout the stars will happen in our lifetime? Yes.
I believe so. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's right around the corner.
The old-fashioned way or the real way, We got Elon Musk, we got the Chinese right now. I think today they just launched the Chinese. So yeah, we'll be in the moon and Mars in no time. Yeah. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I see it happening already.
Oh, sorry. I got sidetracked. Something came in. Someone's trying to call me. How rude.
Kim Austin, Emery and JP, what is your most favorite ET experience? Wow, you go first, Emery.
And I don't have every experience, whether it was working with them day to day or on one of these contact missions or one of these down vehicles saving their lives or trying to save their lives, was very emotional, very emotional. And when you're with extraterrestrials, there's no hiding anything. You're an open book. They know everything about you, your emotional state. They have this beautiful, loving energy that just overflows you. It's like walking through a viscous material that just permeates every cell, and you get very elated and the feeling of love and emotion. Anything, even after the projects, doing contact work and having like the light being come in front of me on Boca Grande Island during a CSETI CE5 group was, it's just every experience. There's always a positive thing about, the experiences, and connecting with them through telepathy, I think, was probably one of the most life-changing things, to know that we have this ability to relate emotions and getting messages to someone that are not misconstrued. Like when you text message someone, I think it's on a grandiose scale of the communication was one of the most heartfelt. I can't wait for everyone to be activated with that, which is also right around the corner, because that's part of the contact and the disclosure is actually showing how we're capable of doing this, and how the language of the universe really is not so much computer numbers and different languages. It's about this telepathic communication. And I think that was probably what my experiences with the extraterrestrials was, that because the information that you gain when you come to my contact work, I make you write down 100 questions and have you memorize them. My team has to do a lot more than that, by the way, because once you have contact, that is done in a millisecond, all the information, and you're just sitting there crying and like a little human larva.
Human larva.
and you just are like, you have a billion other questions, because now you see. For once, you can see the information, you can see through their eyes. And I think giving them permission to see through your eyes is a great way to, when you first meet an extraterrestrial, so they can feel everything and see everything. And you should ask permission. One of your questions is, may I see through your eyes? And then it, then if you don't short circuit first, you're emotionally completely just elated. You don't know what to do. You're speechless. Yeah. How about you, JP?
I have a couple of them. It's I was in a room, and I was with all these jocks, all these soldiers, and I enter this room, and it's like a classified room, and I'm like a specialist, and you see captains, you see sergeant first class, you see lieutenants, and they see me walk in this room, and this is a white room, and we have a doctor that comes out and say, yeah, you got to go to this room, and there's one room that you go to that we know if you go to that room, you have been off planet, right? So I get in, and then you get all these guys saying, look at this guy, specialist. Oh, yeah, specialist, Pabone. Oh, yeah. So they sit me down, and all these guys are like cracking up on me. What are you doing here? Are you even supposed to be here? And I show them my card, classified, yeah. And there's like 6 or 8 of them, and they're all like wrapping up on me, like, you're not even supposed to be here. Call the outside guy, dude. What is he doing here? Oh, he's a specialist. Then you have the doctor that comes out. He says, Mr. Pabone, we need you to come to the back. Go to door 1. And everybody's like, what? You want to go through door 1? So it's just funny, because I did not choose to do this. They choose it for you to go through these experiences. You sign a contract, and once you sign your name, they choose. And I think because of your DNA and the things you have seen before service, and the beings you have contacted before service, it's and I after that I came out, and then one of the guys says, "Oh, you're that JP guy, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." All right, yeah, take care, buddy. Yeah, all right, yeah, whatever. And they started treating me good. I became good friends with one of them, and we went to a couple missions because he also went to door 1 after me. So it was an amazing experience to go to, also meeting the Nordics, meeting how funny they are. These ETs, most people think they're like, but they have a sense of humor. They have a sense of humor, like really sarcastic. Like you look at them and they just laugh at you. You know, they have a great sense of humor. They become one of you, like friends. And people think it is contact is like, boo, you know, I'm an ET. It's not gonna be like that. They want to be our friends. They want to be connected to us. So they treat us like, oh my God, it's so funny. You probably have been through experience that they have a sense of humor, right?
They're so comical. I mean, people always make these when we're doing contact. People are everyone starts laughing sometimes because they really, like one of the ETs, like the light being when the craft came out of the water on Bocagram, it's dripping water, and all these sparkles were around everyone. And one of the sparkles formed into this beautiful light being. And, I was just connecting with it, and I said, do you mind if I take your picture after we did the download? And it started laughing and said, well, of course, that's why you're here. It was like this funny thing. But in the projects, they were always busting my chops. I have a great story where, I was getting off early on Friday from the projects, and I had to do one last, surgery with these 2 extraterrestrial beings. And they were basically, and I was so excited because I was going to get off, and I was going to, I had this hot date. I had my new motorcycle. I was going to take this girl to Applebee's, and I was all excited about it inside.
After 10, half off.
I had my 50% off coupon. I was only a sergeant making no money, and came in, and as I'm approaching, and I got up, I'm very serious because you have to kind of wipe yourself of emotions when you meet extraterrestrials in the projects because they pick up on everything. And they basically looked up and said, "Oh, so Smith, you have some exciting plans tonight, we see." And like laughing, and it's just they're in your face, and they love laughing. They also love music. They're into all that stuff. They like to see that conviviality of the group. Sometimes during breaks and contact work, we'll jam the music for 15 minutes, and everyone's dancing and having a good time. They love to see this interaction of the same tonality. So that, like when we do ohms and meditations, when we're doing contact work, it's to get everyone in the same tonality. So yeah, they're very comical. Really especially comical. The little ones are very comical.
Yeah.
Jamie Nichter, after everything you've both seen and experienced, what does it feel like being around the rest of us, like Rise of the Guardians, who are still trying to understand the bigger picture? Is it unnerving, surreal, maybe sad? Well, it's great because here you have people coming to learn, and it is about education. We don't think anyone's stupid or anything. It's not like that at all. We're not judging. One thing that you learn with extraterrestrials is that you can't judge anyone's character or judge their being, because they're that way because that's the way they are. And this is something that we all have to come to terms with by accepting everyone here on the planet. If we don't accept everyone on the planet, no matter race or gender or their politics or religion, you're not going to be able to go amongst the stars, because one of the things that you have to learn is to be one with everyone and have a connection, and to let everyone be who they want to be themselves. That's who it is. So when we go out and we teach these things, and JP, I'm sure, will elaborate on his experience. It's not about it's really hard technology-wise coming out of the project. I had a very difficult time the first year, knowing that we had all these life-saving things, and my dad came down with a grade 4 glioblastoma cancer. I knew we could easily fix that overnight, and not having access to all that stuff anymore. And that's why I went into the healthcare and biologics, and developing these patented 510K FDA approved systems, was because I knew there was a way to start curing people and helping people out there, you know, through these other technologies. So yeah, I think the bigger picture, you know, it is, that part is kind of weird, seeing cars that are running on gas and seeing rockets go up into space using fuel. It's not part of the project. We don't use any those combustion type things. And knowing that we can clean the Earth's environment and stop all fossil fuels and cleaning up the oceans of radioactive material overnight, you know, that's what hurts. Now, it's not so much someone coming up to me saying, you know, how do I make contact? You know, why can't I see things that you see? You know, that has to do with DNA and other things and training that you go through and lineage. But everyone's capable of doing it. So everyone is capable of being the superheroes that, you know, we see out all the time, and extraterrestrials and being able to communicate. So I that's my take on it. How about you, JP?
I feel that we're put on this earth for a reason. We're put here in this timeline for a reason, you know, to bring this information to the right people that are waiting for it, you know. And I'm happy when I see people going to these events, because they get full of so much knowledge and they can teach their family members about this knowledge. I had somebody that came up to me in Rise of the Guardians. He says, man, I just never thought this existed. And I you know, I lost a family member, and now I could see what she was talking about, you know. And this is opening my eyes better into what the future holds for humanity. So sometimes people come to these events for healing. They come to these events to find truth, to see the bigger picture. And sometimes it is sad, because a family member that have been telling you all this, and then out of nowhere, this family member is not no longer in our timeline, and then you find out, oh my God, they just released the first batch of UFO files. Oh my God, they're releasing the second batch of UFO files. You find out that this person was telling the truth the whole time. So that's what makes me it's not sad, but makes me happy, in the sense that we're giving out this information in for this reason, for this time that is chosen, because every time is different. Every time is different. It's like looking yourself in the mirror, and when you look yourself in the mirror, you see a lot of things. You see a lot of stuff in the mirror. You see yourself, you see a reflection, but you don't never see what somebody's thinking. You never see the thoughts of somebody else, you know, of what they went through, of how they're overcoming their sadness, or what experience they have seen or felt. So I believe that we're getting closer to everybody feeling the same thing, like a hive mind. We're getting close to those type of technologies, of us connecting more with each other in order to grow like humanity should grow together, and happy ever after, you know. And I see that when I was in the military, right? And you see everybody doing the same thing. You know, if somebody falls, guess what? Everybody's dropping and doing 50 push-ups, you know. So I really learned that when I was in the military, that yes, everybody has to be in the same accord. Everybody has to see. That's why when we go to these contacts to bring them down, guess what? Everybody has to be in the same accord. Everybody has to have the same feeling. Everybody has to have the same love in order to bring them down. And it's the same thing in the military. I learned that in the military. You know, if the drill sergeant tells you to come down with a toothbrush, everybody come down with a toothbrush, you know? And if somebody misses a toothbrush, guess what? We're running 10 miles. So you learn like that. And the ETs, they teach you like that. Hey, we want humanity to be in one accord when we come and visit you. If not, guess what? You're going to do 50 push-ups. you know, and learn the hard way, you know, learn the truth the hard way. So it could be, like I said, it could be a can of worms or a can of candies for a lot of people.
Yeah, very well put, JP. Well, JP, I know we went over a little bit, and we both have other prior obligations. I guess we'll take this one last question, and then we'll wrap it up. Could you explain what you mean by saying because your DNA? Well, this is kind of a private thing, but without opening a can of worms, you know, there are genetic DNA factors that contribute to people of certain lineages that have a little bit more contact experience, or it's easier for them to make contact. And JP is one of these people. And so people are picked in the projects based off of genetic DNA coding and frequency for certain things, believe it or not. And this has been done for many, many, many years. So they look for those genetic markers because it helps with kind of being an ambassador to whatever mission they have, which means that your lineage resonates with those extraterrestrial races or multiple races, which usually is the fact. It's not usually just one, there's multiple. We're all created, and modified by many different extraterrestrial civilizations throughout the millions of years. And that's just something that also will be brought up in the future with disclosure. Everyone has activation and different types of extraterrestrial DNA. No doubt about it. And the systems that they have in the projects can read those. And they know, even from space, what type of extraterrestrial lineage that you have, when you were modified, how many times your lineage has been modified. And these are just things that they're keeping tabs on for future things, I'll say. We hope those are good things, but they also have the ability to wipe out an entire civilization of a certain DNA if they chose to do that. I don't believe the extraterrestrials will allow that to happen. And that's my take on that. I don't know if you want to say anything, JP, but you're more than welcome to.
DNA carries memory. Okay. When you see a spider, right? This is an analogy. I want people to understand this. And you see this spider building his web. It's building his web, and you see the web, how it is done and all that. It's so beautiful. And its instinct of building the web is embedded in the DNA. Okay. So a new study came out, and I'm going to say this here, I think for the first time, that birds, okay, when they sing, guess what? They're singing. It's the spider web. They're singing is it's a language that is embedded in their DNA. So they're already born with a language that they know. You can get a blue jay over here in California, a blue jay over here in New York, and they're singing the same song. Why? Because it's embedded in their DNA. So by generation, they already know language. They're born with language. Birds. Isn't that amazing? And spiders are born doing their webs. They're beautiful webs. And they can be different species of spider, and they build the web differently, how their species is supposed to. And humans, okay, us, our DNA is so special. It's been around for so long that we have thoughts and memories embedded in our DNA that we can find that is not even from our star system. So I want people to understand that we are not from here. We're so special. Our souls are not from here. That's why we get into the avatar programs, that they have the ability to remove your consciousness and put it to somewhere else, or probably ETs are doing that with the grays. You know, they're pushing their consciousness on the grays. That's why they look robotic and they're biological, you know, but it's DNA, it's consciousness. It is your consciousness.
Yeah, we're born here. We're not from here. That's why it's hard for many of you to live here and to try to comply to this energy field of Earth, because there's a lot more, like JP said, in your DNA. It's a crystalline hard drive. It's a crystal, okay? And it holds so much information, more than any computer you could imagine here on planet Earth.
My God.
And they have already cracked that code. And that's part of the science that needs to be released, because it answers a lot of questions. And also, you'll remember. They don't want you to remember. Okay, we remember. And it's one of those things that when that happens and you start remembering, all the bullshit goes out the window, because those are facts of your lineage and how you were created. Yeah, that was deep. That was deep.
I was trying to find a video to send to Cameron, but I couldn't find it. Man, these videos sometimes they just disappear from your phone, because you have like 22,000 videos and information that is given to you from different locations and different, you know, there's things that I have that I can't show yet, you know, and I know it's gonna happen. It's gonna be a time that we're gonna be free from this. Like withholding, you know, and that's what we're waiting for, you know. But for now, for the protection of this beautiful nation, you know, and the protection for all that are serving, that's why in those videos you see that the locations are redacted and all that, but there's still soldiers out there experiencing these things. And it's not just looking at it in video. It's physical. It's physical. Going through portals, going through these inside these ships, smelling how these ships smell like. You know, it smells like if copper was getting burnt a little bit, you know. So the energy that these ships use is so different. I'm not a scientist, but it's amazing. The technology.
The scents are very, there's smells like you've gone to another country and you've never smelled before. And it's like, you can't even say, oh, that smells like burnt chicken. No, these are all new scents, and extraterrestrials release these scents and their ships and craft. And these are frequencies, these scents that there are some. I'll tell you one thing before we get off. There are some races that only communicate through scent.
Like dogs, huh?
Boom. It's amazing. It's an amazing science, and I got to be part of that project, and it's just unbelievable. Well, JP, thank you so much for coming on. You know, I love you, brother, and happy Memorial Day. Thank you for your service. I hope you and your family have a wonderful day tomorrow.
Happy Memorial Day.
I'm sure we'll be talking. I love the uniform. I love your setup there. I'm still building mine right now. I'm just got some geometric things going on, but I have lots of stuff. I haven't set up my office yet.
Paratrooper, all the way.
Right there.
There we go.
JP, how can people get a hold of you? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, right there. YouTube, JP1, Patreon, JP Missions, and Instagram, and we're good to go. I'm building my website soon, and I'm going to be working with Emery soon. We're going to be building a lot of good things and a lot of beautiful things that's going to help humanity get closer to their inner self and get closer to their beautiful within temple, you know, and fix it up. And it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful ride, you know, beautiful roller coaster ride, like we were saying, you know. So come on the roller coaster with us.
If you guys want to donate a little bit larger fund to us, I put a PayPal link there. Just put Emery JP. Those proceeds will go directly just to myself and JP, and we'll split that up. You guys can shoot over a couple $1,000s each or $100, that'd be great. We do this all on our volunteer self. You know, there's no money to be made, so you guys know, with any type of videoing, or even when we film, you know, with the podcast webinars, and it just helps us get by. Or, you know, there's no money being made at this. It's the stuff we're doing behind the scenes that we need help funding with, that we put into the right hands for us.
We like to help others a lot. We help a lot of people.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's amazing the people that we can help.
Yeah, and we're really thankful for you guys supporting us, coming on this webinar. We hope you enjoyed it. You can also reach me at emerystarlabs@gmail.com. If you're interested in one of the scans, emerystarscan@gmail.com. Check out emerystarlabs.com for all the different types of solutions and products we have out there to help better your health. And we want to say thank you again. God bless you. And until the next one, be safe. Be loyal, have your integrity at hand, and stay vigilant, most importantly. Emery out.
JP out.